Alright, everybody, peace. Welcome to the GSMC College Football Podcast show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As you guys know, I'm your host, Casuan, and we have got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Originally I just planned to do some previews and for a couple of the biggest games of the week, and we're still going to do that, but we're going to open up the show with some breaking news actually coming out of Tuscaloosa. And I kind of want to just dive right into it. Before we get started, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. And be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon as well, so you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And in order to do that, go to patreon.com, click on the search bar, type in GSMC Sports Network. That way you can have access to all of our exclusive content. And if you'd like to support our company and our network, simply follow the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network./tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network./tip. None of this is possible without you guys, the fans, and we're just so grateful for all of the support that you guys show us and that you trust us with all of your sporting needs. And it's an honor to talk about college football with you guys. And let's get right into it. Let's get right into it, guys. So literally breaking news coming out of Tuscaloosa today that Alabama will be making a change at the quarterback position. And sophomore Tyler Buckner is expected to start over sophomore Jalen Milroe when the 10th ranked Crimson Tide plays South Florida tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. On ABC. And for those of you who don't know, Buckner is a transfer from Notre Dame who played under Alabama offensive coordinator Tommy Rees last season when they were both at Notre Dame. Tommy Rees was the starter for Notre Dame last season before he got hurt, missed the majority of the season. Ended up playing in the Gator Bowl last year, where he threw for 5 touchdowns, but also 3 interceptions, in the 45-38 win over South Carolina when he was at Notre Dame. But so he's here at Alabama now, and he got some reps in the Tide's first win of the season against Middle Tennessee State, but it was in mop-up duty, where he went 3 for 5 with 27 yards. And this change at quarterback is coming after Alabama's 34-24 loss to Texas, where Jalen Milroe threw 2 interceptions during that game. And to those that are inside the Tide camp, those that know what's going on with the Crimson Tide and how Nick Saban likes to run things and how he operates things, this comes as no surprise. And I can't necessarily say that this is the wrong move to make. Jalen Milroe is, like I talked about, he's a phenomenal thrower of the deep ball. He has amazing athleticism, but he struggles with the intermediate passes and with his timing in the pocket. And some people would say that this is a move of desperation for the Tide. Some people would say that this is a bigger representation of things that are going on inside the Tide locker room. I wouldn't go that far. I always say if you're going to make a change at quarterback, you got to do it earlier in the season. But when you make the change, you got to stick with it. And you have to be sure about it. You have to commit to it. So you can't, for Alabama's example, you can't go from Milroe to Buckner back to Milroe. If you're gonna go with Buckner, you have to stick with Buckner. And this is a situation similar that Alabama was in before, back in 2015 when they had a QB battle between Jake Coker and I forget the other quarterback's name, but anyway, for the first 3 games of the season, this quarterback, whose name is slipping my mind, was the starting quarterback, but then after they lost to Ole Miss, they made the change to Jake Coker, and Jake Coker was able to rally that team and ended up leading that team to a national championship that year in a win over Clemson. So this Alabama is not new to making changes at quarterback. Obviously, the change that everyone knows about when Tua Tagovailoa came in for Jalen Hurts in the second half in the national championship game against Georgia. But the example I made with Jake Coker during the 2015 season is more akin and more similar to this situation that we have right here. And I don't know. I need to see how the offense as a whole moves for Alabama. We have to understand that Alabama struggled after the first quarter to establish the run against Texas, and they were playing from behind, so they had to throw the ball more. And so defenses know that, so they're able to drop back in coverage. So Jalen Merrill is kind of at a disadvantage in that case, where defense knows he's going to have to throw the ball because they're behind and they can't establish the run. So they're able to drop back in coverage, and it's hard to make those throws at the quarterback position when defenses know that. And Milroe is kind of in a difficult situation right there, but there's a high standard at Alabama, and there is no room for error in a program like this. But the biggest issue for Alabama is penalties at this point. They had 9 penalties last week for 180 yards, and it's odd that the past 3 seasons Alabama has struggled with penalties, and that's not something you typically see under a Nick Saban program. But this has occurred for the past 3 seasons, sorry. And is there a shift? Should we start should we start thinking about whether Alabama is still one of the top teams in the country in terms of national title contenders? And there's defensive issues that has plagued Alabama, particularly in their secondary, over the past 3 seasons. And things that used to not be issues for Nick Saban ran programs are now starting to become issues, i.e. the secondary, penalties, turnovers. And I'm not sure if that's more so representation of the recruits that are coming in. I mean, they still had a top recruiting class last year, or is it more so that Nick Saban is not adjusting to how to coach these guys now with a new kind of era of college football? Whatever you call it is what it is. But the fact of the matter is Alabama's here right now. They're ranked number 10, and they're making a quarterback change. But I do say that if you make this change, you have to stick with it. You can't go back to Milroe. You have to be sure that you're going to stick with Buckner, and Saban knows that. And Saban knows how important it is to throw the intermediate ball, not just rely on the deep ball. And he believes that Buckner can have more control of the offense and be able to make those intermediate throws in coverage. So we won't see much in this performance or in this game against South Florida. If anything, we'll end up seeing both quarterbacks just because Alabama will likely be out to a big lead early on in the game, and we really won't see the effects of this change until we get into SEC play when Alabama plays Ole Miss. But because the issue is if they're going to go back to Milroe at quarterback, but they just want to see how Buckner does, then if that's the case, then you just simply start Milroe for this game, but then you allow Buckner to get more reps late in the game, or even in the second quarter. You want to split reps that way, but you still start Milroe. But starting Buckner for this game tells me that they're going to stick with Buckner regardless for the rest of the season. That's what this change tells me. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about this move right here. Is this a good move for Alabama? Does this affect their national title chances? Does it increase or decrease their chances of winning national championship? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But with our next segment, guys, we're actually going to preview the Alabama-South Florida game because of this breaking news right here. So, guys, be sure to stick around. You're not going to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed our first segment, we discussed the breaking news coming out of Alabama with Tyler Buckner being named the starting quarterback over Jalen Milroe in their matchup against the University of South Florida. We talked about what that change of quarterback means for the program and why you have to commit to this change if you're going to make it. So why this change is vastly important. But if it was going to be done, it needs to be done now. And later on in our show, guys, we're going to be breaking down some of the top games of the week. We're going to be breaking down the matchup between LSU and Mississippi State, and the matchup between Tennessee and Florida as well. But with this segment, guys, I want to actually dive into this matchup, dive into this game between Alabama and South Florida. And if we look at the matchup predictor on ESPN, obviously Alabama has a 98.6% chance of winning the game. Currently the over-under is set at 61, and the spread right now is Alabama minus 33.5. So we know that this game isn't going to be particularly close, but this game is more so going to be a representation of what Alabama can potentially look like moving forward in the season, at least offensively. And during Nick Saban's press conference, he talked about how the issues that Alabama has are fixable. And I would agree with that. I didn't see any glaring issues, or I didn't see any issues during their matchup against Texas that told me that they can't win, or that they don't have the talent level to win. They don't have the talent level to compete for a national championship. That's not what I saw in that game. What I saw were mental errors that can be fixed, and that quite frankly need to be fixed. That you can't have those sort of issues when competing for a national championship, i.e. like false starts, multiple false starts, DPIs, defensive pass interferences, and intercept turnovers, not controlling the ball. And those are fixable issues that need to be addressed right away. And Nick Saban thinks that making a change at quarterback is one way to fix to fix those errors. And one thing I'm looking for in this game is for Alabama to reestablish their rhythm on the ground and really commit to the run. And they're almost in a catch-22 because they want to establish their run, but however they want to see what Milroe looks like in non-garbage time and against a formidable a stout actual defense. And they want to see him make some throws, but they also want to, like I said, establish the run and get it to a rhythm, so that being able to strike that balance. But I think that's necessary because through 2 games Alabama's only averaging 396 yards in total, and they are averaging 156 rushing yards, but they struggle against Texas on the ground, but they're only averaging 240 yards in the air. And what's going to happen is if you can commit more to the run, obviously opens up the play action and it forces the defense to bring in another person in the box, and it puts more pressure on the secondary, and it makes it easier, like I said, for the quarterback to make those throws. And if Alabama can establish the run, they need to commit to the run first and get McCluster more carries earlier on. That way he can get to a rhythm and create easier throws for Buckner, and even open up the play action, open up the deep ball to Burton and Buchanan. But these are fixable issues for Alabama, and that's what I'm looking to see in this game, is how the offense looks. I do think the defense performed well against Texas. It was just a matter of they were on the field so long because the offense couldn't get into a rhythm. That's why they struggled towards the end, especially late in the game. And I think the secondary is going to be fine for Alabama. I know there's some things some issues that people have brought up, but I don't think it's that big an issue. More so, the issue right now is the offense and the consistency and the ability to put points on the board, and controlling the ball, not turning the ball over. Those are going to be the big issues for big keys to success for Alabama. But I do have Alabama winning this game by a score of 34-13. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama was able to score more points. But right now I have them at 34. But let me know what you guys think about this matchup right here. Will Alabama cover the spread? How will Tyler Buchner look in his first start for Alabama? And will Alabama be able to establish a run? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But guys, we are going to be covering the matchup between LSU and Mississippi State in our next segment. So guys, be sure to stick around. You are not going to want to miss any of that. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed our first two segments, we discussed the recent news coming out of Alabama with Alabama naming Tyler Buckner the starting quarterback for their game against South Florida. Talked about what that means for the program, what that means for Nick Saban and company moving forward, and why, if you're going to make this change, you have to commit to it and not go back on this change. And I think Nick Saban knows that. And if you're going to make this change, now is the time to do it. It's always better to do it earlier than later. And we will see, if this was a fruitful change for Alabama. And then in the second segment, we covered the breakdown between Alabama and USF and what to look for from Alabama's offense, what to look for from Alabama as a whole, and what to expect for the outcome of this game. And later on in the show, we're going to break down the matchup between LSU, Mississippi State, and also between Tennessee and Florida. But for right now, we're going to cover the LSU and Mississippi State game. And if we look at matchup predictor, LSU currently has a 67.3% chance of winning. The game we played in Davis Wade Stadium, so it's going to be a home game for Mississippi State. And the over-under is currently set at 54, and the line has LSU minus 9.5. So, particularly close game for SEC West divisional opponents. And LSU is currently averaging 540 total yards compared to Mississippi State, who's averaging 416 total yards. LSU is allowing 407 yards per game, while Mississippi State's allowing 319. And we talked about LSU, and they're led by quarterback Jaden Daniels, who was a preseason Heisman candidate. Currently has 615 yards, 6 touchdowns, one interception. Their leading running back Diggs has 15 carries, 115 yards for a touchdown. And Brian Thomas Jr., the receiver, is the leading receiver for LSU with 13 receptions, 220 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And this is a Mississippi State team that struggles throwing the ball, and they tend to rely heavily on the run, and they have they're coming off an overtime victory against Arizona, where they won 31-24, and it was not particularly a good sign to see them struggle against Arizona. And the key to victory for Mississippi State will be for them to establish the run and to get into play action passing, so to open up the passing game. We see this is an LSU team that struggles in the secondary because they're allowing 258 yards per game in the air. So if Mississippi State can establish the run in order to open the passing game, that will bode well for their success, and it will be interesting to see what Mississippi decides to commit to in this game. And if LSU can limit turnovers, and if they can attack once again the Mississippi State, because Mississippi State also has a weak secondary, then it will bode well for them. It'll be successful for them. But I do have LSU winning this game, and I believe LSU will be able to pull out this victory. I do believe it's going to be a close game. I think that Mississippi State will cover the spread. I think it's going to be a 4-point game. I have 3-point game. I have LSU winning this game by a score of 24-21. So I do think this game's going to be a lot closer than people expect it to be. But LSU can't afford to lose this game. If LSU loses this game to Mississippi State, then their season's, for all intents and purposes, over. But if LSU can use this game to regain more of the confidence that they lost during their Week 1 loss against Florida State, it'll bode well for them moving forward, moving along in the conference play. But I do think they're going to win the game, but I do think it's going to be a close game. Like I said, I do have LSU win this game by a score of 24-21. I think LSU is going to do a good job of throwing the deep ball and attacking the secondary of Mississippi State, but I do think they'll struggle on the ground because Mississippi State is only allowing 87 yards on the ground. So I think LSU is going to struggle to establish the run, but them committing solely to the pass won't be an issue, especially since they have Jaden Daniels back there at quarterback. So that's my prediction for this game. And let me know what you guys think, though. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Mississippi State has a chance of pulling off the upset? Do you think that LSU will win in convincing fashion? Well, let me know what you guys think about this game. When it comes to these SEC West divisional games, they're always close. Doesn't matter. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama, Tennessee. Tennessee because they're in the East Division. But these games are always close, always close. And I don't think this is going to be any different. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. How do you think this game is going to turn out? And guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. Excuse me. And be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon as well, so you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. You can do that by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar and typing in GSMC Sports Network. And if you would like to support our company and our network, you can follow the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network /tips. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network /tip. None of this is possible without you guys, the fans. So we're just so grateful for all the support and love that you show us and for tuning into our shows on a daily basis. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out the GSMC Baseball Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, and the GSMC NFL Podcast as well. All of our hosts do an amazing job of providing insight and analysis on the sports that they cover, and they are some of the best in the sports media business. So it's an honor to be working alongside them. But with that being said, guys, we'll be back in our next segment to cover the Tennessee and Florida matchup. So be sure to stick around, guys. You're not going to miss it. All right, everybody, welcome back. In case you missed the previous segments of our show, we covered the recent breaking news coming out of Alabama with Tyler Buckner being named the starting quarterback for their game against USF this weekend. And we talked about why this commitment or this change of starting quarterbacks is going to, it's something that they have to commit to. They can't go back now. There's no going back to this, and I think Nick Saban knows that. And we also discussed the matchup between Alabama and USF and what we should be looking for from Alabama's offense, what we should be looking for from the defense, and just as a whole, what should we be looking for from Alabama. And we covered the matchup between LSU and Mississippi State, and why this game is actually going to be a close game, and actually is going to define LSU's season. If they lose this game, then their season's pretty much over. And if you haven't already, guys, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. And be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon as well, so you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. In order to do that, go to patreon.com, click on the search bar, type in GSMC Sports Network. And if you would like to support our network and our company, simply follow the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC-Sports-Network/tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC-Sports-Network/tip. None of this is possible without you guys as fans, and we're just so grateful for all the support and love that you guys show us. And it's an honor to talk about college football every day with you guys. I love it. So let's get right into it, guys. Tennessee, I'm ranked Tennessee going up against Florida. Matchup predictor on ESPN currently has Tennessee with a 53.8% chance of winning this game. This game will be played in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, so it's going to be in Florida. Currently, the over-under is set at 56.5, and the spread is currently set at Tennessee -5. So this is apparently Vegas thinks this is going to be a close game. As you guys know, this is a Florida team, at least, that is in complete rebuild, restructuring their program right now. And this is a Tennessee team that is coming off success from last year. If Henderson had not gotten hurt, they might have had a great chance of making the national championship game, or at least making to the college football playoff. But if we look at tail to tape, Tennessee's currently averaging 477 yards on the total yards offensively, while Florida's averaging 453 total yards, and Tennessee is allowing 270, as opposed to Florida, who's allowing 191 yards. So this is a Florida team that lost to Utah in their Week 1 matchup of this year, and then won against McNeese State 49-7. And as you guys know, Tennessee beat UVA 49-13 in Week 1, and then beat Appalachian State 30-13. And the key for this matchup is if Tennessee's going to be able to establish the run against this Florida team in their stout front seven, that's the strength of their defense, is specifically their D line. Will Tennessee be able to establish the run? And that would be key. That's going to be key to the victory for Tennessee. I do think they're going to struggle to throw the ball. However, because Florida does also have a strong secondary. If Florida's able to generate at least 2 turnovers, it's going to give them a great chance to win. This is a Tennessee team that's done a great job of ball control, but if Tennessee can get them out of rhythm, if Florida can get them out of rhythm by, generating more turnovers and limiting their drives, then it's going to put Florida in a great position to win. And if Mertz can get into a rhythm offensively and uh, be poised in the pressure, because this is a front seven for Tennessee. Specifically, their linebackers, they like to blitz a lot. They like to draw blitzes, and they do a great job of establishing pressure on passing attempts for the quarterbacks. And if Tennessee can generate pressure, that gives them a great chance to win as well. But I do think this game is going to be close. I do think Vegas has this right. I do think this game is going to be a lot closer than people expect. It will be a one possession game, and this matchup between Tennessee and Florida is always a good one. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I'm going to stick with. I originally picked Tennessee, but this game will be close, and I have Tennessee winning this game by a score of 28-24. 28-24. So this game is going to be close. Sorry, not 20-24. 32-28. I'm sorry about that, guys. 32-28. I have Tennessee winning this game. So I do think this game is going to be particularly close. I think Tennessee is going to be able to get a stop on the final possession of Florida, which is going to seal the game up for them. But I think it's going to be a back and forth game throughout its entirety. I do think Florida is going to do a good job of creating turnovers. I think they're going to create at least 2 turnovers on Tennessee. But I do think Tennessee is going to have over 350 yards in the pass in the air. And that's where I see this game going. I do have Tennessee winning this game, but it is going to be close. But guys, that is our preview for Tennessee, Florida. By the way, let me know what you guys think. What do you think? How do you think this matchup is going to come out between Florida and Tennessee? But that's what we have for our preview of Florida and Tennessee, and that's all we have for our show today, guys. What a wonderful week it has been. Thank you so much for just tuning in, guys. It's such a great honor to share this platform with you guys and talk about college football. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well, so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. And be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon as well, so you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. In order to do that, go to patreon.com, click on the search bar, type in GSMC Sports Network. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, simply follow the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network /tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network /tip. And if you haven't already, guys, be sure to check out the GSMC Baseball Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, and the GSMC NFL Podcast as well. All of our hosts provide such great insight and analysis on the sports that they cover. They're some of the best in the business, and it is an honor to work alongside them. So be sure to check out those shows as well. Guys, we will be back again, same time on Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And enjoy the wonderful games that are going to be played this weekend in college football. Continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, enjoy your weekend, and until next time, guys, peace.